Welcome to another edition of the Nines presented by AT&T here on the Cloud9 channel. I'm back finally after 2 months at Flashpoint, in which Cloud9 also is a partner team and competed. But we're here today to return to the world of League of Legends. And joining me are some of the new LCS members, all 3 new LCS members, in fact. We have none of the old LCS members from last season. So Reignover stepping in as head coach, and we have Fudge, the new top laner, replacing Licorice because now he doesn't count as an import. So that's exciting news for him. He also can't go back to Australia ever. So he's just trapped here. And a man who is not yet trapped here, but who will soon be trapped here, and that is Perkz. So welcome. Thank you for joining me to discuss the new team. Very excited to hear all of your perspectives. Perkz, you're still in Europe, correct? What's your plan? When are you going to come over and start boot camping with the team?
I'm coming over next week. In like a few days. I will not say the details of the flight,
just in case,
But yeah, I'm pretty excited to come over and meet my new teammates and coaching staff and the club and all the people that work there and the nice weather and the good food.
Good food, yeah.
Like I'm actually just excited and yeah.
Start screaming.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do many of those things right now because LA is just actually chock full of COVID-19. But maybe in the future, you can do some of these things. So let's start off with the LCS format changes, actually, because that's a recent announcement that many people have not discussed in depth. So starting with you, Reignover, is this the kind of change that you wanted to see to the LCS overall? Did you want to have more on-stage games to give you a little bit more experience playing, well, hopefully on stage if the season is actually not online? We have yet to find out. Hopefully at some point it won't be. But especially in the summer when we're doing the triple round robin instead, did you want more of these games to get more stage experience?
Yeah, I definitely like the changes for sure. Like, I already like the fact that we're having more games, and I already like the fact that there's like already another tournament going on before the actual season start. And since there's a lot of like roster changes in NA teams, like it's gonna be very good for all the teams, and it's gonna be more competitive. I really like everything, the changes, and also like the fact that Spring Split actually connects to Summer Split, like all those things. Yeah, I really like it.
I mean, it hasn't actually changed much since.
Hey, what?
Wait, what?
Wait a second.
I haven't read it. I haven't read it completely.
Oh my god, you guys!
Wait, what?
Perkz hasn't read it. Perkz hasn't read it.
I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn.
That's okay.
Oh, Perkz didn't know
Same as
about
the
it.
viewers. I have to learn the same as the viewers. I knew about the tournament and stuff, but like okay, it's fine. Let's just keep going. Let's learn.
Jesus
Christ.
See, this is, guys, you think pro players are really smart and like educated about the game, but oftentimes they, might as well be illiterate because they can't actually read things or know what's happening around them. So to describe this is Jack, this is what $12 million buys you, by the way. So here's what's going on, guys. So the spring split does actually connect to the summer split now. It's kind of just one big season in the summer after they do a little like mid-season tournament to decide who goes to MSI. They do play 45 games, so it will be, or 35? How many games is it?
I think it's 45.
45 games.
I might be wrong.
Yeah, it should be 45 games in the summer. So they're also expanding the broadcast through Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So these are all factors that are going to be coming in. And then at the end of the split, a lot of people were saying, like, how can 8 out of 10 teams go to the playoffs? So they actually did something really cool, I think, to the playoff bracket, which basically seeds like the 7th and 8th teams into the losers bracket and really gives a preferential seed to the top 2 teams. So it really rewards kind of performance over the season, because I think you only have to win 2 best of 5s to go to Worlds into one of the top 2 seeds.
Yeah,
so
I'm pretty sure it's
interesting.
And then if you go into the losers bracket, obviously you go pretty deep in, like late into the losers bracket. So there's a lot of forgiveness for teams that played really well. And if you're one of the 7th or 8th teams, you still have a chance to go to Worlds, but you basically can't lose a best of 5 and have to make some sort of miracle run, which I think is a good place. If you have to have 8 teams in those playoffs, which we could debate, but I think if you do have 8 teams in the playoffs, this is a good way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine, to be honest. Like giving a 7th and 8th team a final chance, I guess. But I mean, it's not like it's very unlikely they ever get through. But there's a 1% chance it makes for a good narrative, I guess. So it's fine.
Yeah, and I do think it is valuable, especially for a team. We saw it in EU. Didn't actually end up working out, but Schalke like heated up really, really fast late in the season and looked like they might be a team that deserved potentially to go to Worlds before they got clapped. But we found out
that was really hype, yeah. Like
it was
honestly,
super hype.
even like part of me was just like really cheering for them, even to like beat us, like beat everybody, just go guys, go win the Europe, win the whole world. It's fine, but fortunately didn't,
You ruin the hype every time. Perkz.
Yeah.
You ruin the hype every time. Are you here to ruin the hype in NA too? Let's start with that. Why did you make this decision? I know the answer is, obviously you couldn't stay in Europe and be on Fnatic for obvious reasons. Like, why would G2 let you do that while you're under contract? That's totally understandable. But did you come to NA just because you felt that there wasn't another team in Europe that you could really go to make better? And then why Cloud9 if you had made that decision potentially to come to NA?
I mean, to be very honest, I've actually since the season started, even before it started, I've been kind of leaning towards those three options, like basically either playing another year as an AD carry or going to Cloud9, because I was the only team in NA, like the only org in NA and the only team as well, like the roster that interested me. And
me too, actually.
So that was like basically, and of course Fnatic as well. That was like those three options were in my head, and I was even I was kind of, ever since the beginning, something was telling me that I want to go to Cloud9, because if you look at it from my perspective, I've already kind of done a lot in Europe where it's really hard for me to outdo it next year potentially, or even it's just such a hustle, to keep going with something that's it's worked, but it's it needs, it needs changes as well. I do believe that we in G2 need a change, and whether it was something else or me, it's good for the team, I think. And same for me, it's good to get a new environmental change and in general change of atmosphere. It's when you're on a team, same team for 5 years, it's you just get this different, you have this different kind of place on the team, different kind of feeling, I guess. And you just want to, I want to get away from it, and just basically be just a different player on a different team, I guess, and I think, yeah, Cloud9 was just basically, I was leaning towards Cloud9 even more than towards Fnatic, but it's it just depends on what I want, I guess, as well. It's in Europe, it will be more of a little bit more stressful, honestly. Let's say if I left G2 or get kicked or whatever to join Fnatic, it would be this big rivalry, and it would be really stressful for me as well. No matter what I want to say, if it's not stressful or not, it would be super stressful to play against my former team the whole time. And it would be stressful for them as well to play against the player who's built this team the whole time as well. And it would be hype and shit, but it would not be very good for me personally. And here I have a new chance to build something maybe as good, maybe better, than what I did before. And I also get to enjoy every second of it, not being super stressed about if I'm going to beat my previous team or not, which would always be in the back of my mind. Even if I meet G2 right this year internationally, I would for sure want to smash into the pavement, right? I'm not going to deny that, but I'm not going to let this cloud my judgment, I guess.
How important was, kind of being on a team with Sven and Mithy again to your decision, Perkz?
That was just a really big point for me, honestly, because moving to different continent is it's such a big step. And I've heard stories from players I know that have gone to NA and haven't felt that comfortable there, and that they haven't felt they had the I guess camaraderie or the brotherhood on the team, and in general didn't enjoy, I guess, the atmosphere. I heard it from Mitty as well, who was in TSM, right? And then from Sven, I heard a different point of view when he joined Cloud9. So that was something that has been giving me hopes as well. And then on top of that, I would be just rejoining them, who I've played with for 2 years. And it's in context, 2 years in esports life, where we see each other 12 hours a day, is 10 years in normal life.
True.
Where
you live people together and everything, yeah.
Where you see people 2 hours a week or 5 hours a week, let's say tops, it's completely different relationship you have. And yeah, it was a really big plus. Like I'm not saying it was the only reason, but it was like a really big plus. Yeah.
Reignover, what role is Mithy going to play on the team for you in terms of the coaching staff? How are you allocating your coaches?
So basically, I assume everything is announced right now, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So Mithy, and there's gonna be two
You made me
assistant
nervous there for a
coaches.
second. Holy shit.
Like
Yeah, so basically about the role. So specifically for Mithy, I didn't really give him any specific role. He's just gonna be here with us, like doing all the team stuff
He was just the
together,
Perkz
and then
bait,
he's just
right?
gonna. Excuse me?
He's just the Perkz bait. You just got him to bait Perkz
No.
into the team, right?
No. The thing is, he's gonna take like super big role. I 100% think so. It's just, like basically he's just here to help us, and I assume he's gonna find his role like super well, and we're
Yep.
always gonna be talking each other. So yeah,
Yep.
we're just gonna work together pretty much. Yeah.
He's just he's another brain. I mean, he's always going to be useful because as long as you're smart at the game, you can just help the players. You see all the mistakes, and that's all that matters. I don't think he necessarily has to have like a specific role. He can just
Yeah.
whatever
Exactly.
he sees, he can help with.
So Fudge, how did you take this news about you suddenly becoming the starting top laner? Because it was a bit interesting this offseason for Cloud9, because the first announcement was Jack saying, oh yeah, we're going to run it all back with the same roster. Then it was like, ooh, but there's this Perkz guy and he's really fucking good, so maybe we should get him. And then there was you just sitting there being an import, and then the news came out that Australian players, Oceanic region players, would no longer be counted as imports, but would be counted as residents. And then all of a sudden, goodbye licorice. So how was that off season for you? Was this a surprise that you were going to be on the starting roster?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I assumed I wasn't going to be on the starting roster because I couldn't due to import restrictions. But I woke up one day and my manager called me into the room and said, "Hey, you're no longer an import, buddy. OC exploded." He told me that specifically. And then after that, a couple days after, Jack went up to me in the morning and he broke the news to me basically that I would be the LCS top. And I mean, I was happy, of course, but I mean, I don't think that just because I'm LCS means like anything really. Like it's more important that you do well in LCS because there's a lot of shit LCS players, and I don't want to be a shit LCS player. I want to be the best LCS player.
You're right, Fudge. You're fucking right.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you on that. Although I will say that I think, in general, the top level of competition at the LCS should be, I think, better this year than last year. Although it's not saying much because last year was hands down one of the worst years at the LCS I've ever watched. So take from that what you will. But I mean, it looks like teams like Liquid, 100 Thieves might be a little bit closer to you guys, at least in terms of competition.
I would say that only TL. I don't think any of the other teams are that good though. Like I think other. Yeah.
How can you know? Have you been scrimming them without?
Oh, I mean, no. I mean, I haven't been scrimming them, but I know the players. And I know Team Liquid is probably going to be the other best team, but
Sure.
I don't think that the other teams are going to be like on the same level,
The other best team, there is like the second best team and the best team. There might be the second best team.
Yes, they can
There will not be the other best team. There's only one of the best team.
Okay. Second best,
In the Fudge LCS tier list, okay, he would put Cloud9 at S tier, of course, and
Yes.
maybe Liquid at A tier is what he said,
sure,
and then everyone else at like C, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, good. I'm glad we can clarify that.
Yeah.
So you have been in the past, I know, scrimming LCS teams at times, Fudge, and your individual performance was very impressive over the course of this last year of Academy. You were doing just fine against players like Huni for the most part, players that have been in LCS before. How confident? Where would you rank yourself in the LCS pantheon of top laners right now?
Top laners? Well, I think the only top laner that's good, other than me, will be Alphari probably, and maybe Finn, I guess.
Really, over Impact? Impact's Mr. Consistent.
No.
He's Mr. Consistent.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I have my own reasons, But yeah, I think it's mainly just going to be Alfari other than me. That's pretty much it. I don't think any of the other top laners are that good, to be honest.
You forgot someone.
Who?
Me too. I will smash Alfari.
Perkz just play all the roles.
Yeah, I will smash Alfari.
Romantico says the camera went black.
Oh no, my camera. All right,
No,
hold on, let me try and fix this.
It's okay. I'll take over the show from now. So, Perkz, what do you rank yourself among the mid laners in the LCS?
It's a really tough
If he says
question,
number one
man.
after just not even having played mid lane for like a year, that would be
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I would be very humble to put myself somewhere on top 5, but I believe I can improve. I can improve and be the best by the end of the split. So yeah, I really want to play against Bjergsen. Like, I can't wait to play against Bjergsen.
Yeah, Bjergsen, yeah. Bjergsen.
Oh no!
Oh wait, I wanted to face the best in the mid laner, and he's retired, man. Shit.
Reignover, where would you rank yourself among the best coaches in NA? I'm sure.
I mean, I would say our coaching staff is the best for sure. You know,
I'm talking about you, Reignover, not our coaching staff. You.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be the best. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Here, I'll do Reignover. Here, I'll do this for you. I'm gonna rank you according to the best incredible miracle players historically. Okay. You ready?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Okay, so Smeb probably number 1. We've
Smeb's
got
number 1.
Tucson,
Okay.
historically.
Yeah.
Okay, historically, sure.
Reignover is not going to be very high on this list, guys. He had the
Whoa.
name. He had the name Game Over for a reason. Look, man, you made me cast you like a lot. It was really not fun for me. Okay, so.
Okay.
Jesus.
Those are dark days for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Let's see here. Who else? Wisdom probably up there. Frozen. You know, he had some good days on CJ after that. Lilac. You know, Ring Troll. These are some classic names. Mid King. You're already at like 7th at least. Who else?
You're missing someone.
Hold on. Who am I missing?
There's a guy started with K. There's one famous guy started with K. He just retired.
You're testing my memory. Oh, Kuro.
I don't know.
Kuro. Yeah, but I actually like you more than Kuro. So
you're ahead of
so
hard.
You're ahead of Kuro on the rankings. See, my problem with Kuro is that he ruined Rox's chance to win a Worlds. So you never did that. You did well, you know, on Fnatic, but so there's a lot of good I am pedigree there.
But also like, honestly, I think Reignover and Meaty both could actually like replace half of the LCS players in their position and do better. like no joke. I mean, I haven't seen them play in a long time, but just like from the historical point of view, they could do it, you know? So that's kind of funny. Like the fact that our coaches could be actually like playing for half of the LCS teams.
I think our coaches could scrim the other LCS teams and they would win probably.
Yeah,
maybe we'll put it to test once, you know.
I mean, I would have to say that I would be relatively confident that the coaches could beat half of the LCS. I would be
I think so too, yeah.
I would be pretty confident in that assertion. Which, you know, doesn't say very good things about.
or maybe it says very good things about our coaches.
No.
Yes.
No. Gonna disagree with you there. It would be that's a great show match concept though. We'll get Immortals on and see if they're down for the LCS versus Cloud9 coaches. I'll be happy to cast that one. That'll be fun.
I'll cast.
So guys, also in chat here, we will do chat questions a little bit later, but before we do that, we will do a Puma giveaway. And if you haven't noticed, Cloud9 also has their own Puma shoes now, which I'm sure you guys would all love a pair of. So if you would like to win a Puma gift certificate, type #Puma in chat, but you have to be from North America and over 18. So go ahead, we'll get the giveaway going now, and then we'll get an announcement later on about who won. All right. So back to questions about the season for you guys. Reignover, is there anything changing in terms of where you guys are located or the method in which you'll be kind of training? Because one thing that is missing is that Cloud9 owns, you know, these facilities in Korea, right? And you're not going to be able to use them. You can't go over there and do your normal boot camp. So how are you guys going to prepare for the start of the season?
We're actually gonna be one of the teams that starts the practice faster. That's why we're bringing in the players pretty quickly. So, I mean, I don't think there's gonna be too much change on the practice format. We're usually the team that practice one of the hardest outside of all the NA teams. So that's gonna be the same, I assume. I don't think we're gonna have hard time finding a scrim partner too. So we're just aiming for as much as good practice, just same schedule and same amount of practice. Yep.
But you have to do it at NA. Do you think that's going to make things a little bit tougher for you because you can't have the same level of solo queue that you would have if you were in Korea?
Yeah, I definitely think the Korean bootcamp. C9 always. I remember C9 always do the C9 the Korean bootcamps, and it always benefit us because the players were more sharp coming into the season. And I assume, like, I mean, everyone in our team is all veterans, so I assume everyone is coming in with like sharp mindset and gameplay and game sense, just general, having just veteran mindset and being responsible for individuals. So I'm not too much worried about those.
Are you guys sad, Fudge, Perkz, that you guys don't get to go to Korea for a few weeks? It's like a fun part of the calendar. Get somewhere new, grind out some solo queue.
I mean, at the start of the offseason, I was trying to go to Korea, but you needed to get a visa, and I couldn't get a visa to Korea, so it was pretty unfortunate. But I know we're talking about scrims, like C9 starting like one of the fastest, right? There are a couple of other teams that are starting at the same time. The funny thing is, it's 2 weeks before the tournament. So this is like classic NA, you know, starting scrims like 2 weeks before a tournament. Like, I'm pretty sure if it was Korea, 2 months before, you know.
Well, I mean, to be fair, everybody sucks in the Kespa Cup too. That's why like random teams win in the Kespa Cup all the time because the teams are not really practicing. They have all the preseason changes. It hasn't been completely ironed out yet. So, I mean, I don't think anybody really expects much out of that tournament. I'm actually really surprised that that tournament exists. I guess it's kind of fun, but it does really lengthen the season by about a month for you guys.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if it does lengthen the season. I think it's just like 3 weeks of the tournament and then 6 weeks of the regular season. And I think that's
usually the season would start in February, and you guys are starting in January, and you're playing more games this season overall.
Yeah, you're playing more games, but I don't know if like the time length is actually different. I remember Greeley talking about it on like on a different talk show, and yeah, I'm pretty sure he said that it was actually the exact same.
I think it's the same, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of the time.
Fair enough.
But you do have more games, of course.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the preseason changes. Obviously, a lot of these items are not finalized yet, but Perkz, you're trying to adapt back to the mid lane, and you're trying to kind of go through all of these item changes that have occurred. What is your initial impression around the changes that Riot has made this year? Oh, he's muted.
Oh, yeah. What are my impressions? Yeah, thank you, Monty.
Yeah, Fudge, top lane. I know it's.
Well, actually, maybe I can't leak all this. I think there are a lot of strong top lane champions. I think basically, let me think. Well, OP champions, Kale. Kale was really, really OP on the new item patch. I don't think it like changes much. There's like people always say like, oh, the new meta sort of thing, but I think it's mainly just going to be the better players will win anyway. I know a lot of people like to talk about meta as if like that will shape how the season will go, sort of thing. But I think it's mainly just whoever adapts the best, right? And I think that's usually going to be the better players. I don't really want to leak any like champions or anything because it's
sure, that's fair. What do you like the changes that have been made?
Right.
Do you prefer the new items that have been released? Are there specific items you think that you really enjoy playing with?
Mm-hmm. Well, I know Gale Force everyone thinks is really fun, but I think the items in general are like, I think it's a good change. I mean, I definitely don't think it's a negative change. I think just adding anything new for the game will always make it more interesting to everyone. But I did have like a concern that it might actually drive away new players when such a big change would happen, like where everyone, like all the new items, everyone would be like find it hard to learn, I guess. maybe it would scare away any of like the more casual players, I guess, from having to learn the new items again.
Can
All
you
right,
hear me now?
Yes, got you back.
Okay, great.
So your thoughts on the
Your
item
thoughts,
changes that have happened so far and your readjustment to the mid lane with them?
I mean, I kind of agree with Fudge. Like, I love them. I think always change is great. It's like what keeps the game fresh after so many years. Like, I actually like to play the game now, sometimes more than ever before. So, which is like super great considering I'm playing it for like 9 years, I guess, already. And that's just like something that Riot is really good at. Now, like, I started.
Oh,
Oh no,
it's cutting off.
no, it's just Discord now.
Hey,
All right,
can you hear
continue.
me?
We're good.
Yeah, it keeps the game like engaged and keeps you engaged to keep learning, which sometimes some players could find it exhausting, but I would find it like, let's say, okay, I don't know much about Counter-Strike, but let's say if I were to play Counter-Strike, my assumption is you just have to like stay good at aiming and like your reactions, but you don't actually, I don't know, maybe you know better probably, right? But I don't feel like you learn a lot over the years. I feel like the game is, I don't know if it changes, the damage of bullets or whatever, or the maps.
Slightly, but not very much. And there's a very small map pool rotation. But the advantage is because there's very little change to the game, that it's a lot easier to watch, even if you played the game 10 years ago, because it's basically the same, same maps.
That's true,
so
yeah.
like, if you stop playing League, then you come back a year later. And I agree, it does keep the game fresh and fun to play, but the problem is like it's hard.
I mean, there is pros and cons to everything, right?
Sure,
like in everything in life. So same worries. I prefer the pros, I guess, because I do get to keep learning and keep like growing as a player while growing like in the same time as a person, I guess, as well. In that sense, like it kind of just correlates. Like you never get to stagnate, I feel like, because it pushes you to keep learning, and that's what I find really fun. So good job to Riot for like keeping the game so fun, yeah.
And Reignover, from a coaching perspective, has this changed anything from in your eyes? Like, what are the biggest changes that you're going to have to make from last season to this season?
After the change of the game.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think there's too much, because like I feel like the game changes, but I feel like the origin of the game doesn't really change. And the thing is, actually after the change, I wanted to like kind of be ready and be on top, like be sharp about the meta and about just general how I feel about the game. So I actually enjoyed like playing too. So I'll say like the stuff that I prepare for the season, or the change that about the game. I just played a lot of games and actually be in a level where I can feel the game. Like, about all the item changes too, and about the jungle, it actually changed a lot. Like during this times, like at the beginning, the tanks were pretty OP. I really enjoyed this time playing some tanks, And then after that, they nerfed some tanks, and there's a lot of like jungle diverse champion happening in right now, and I really like it that because the change right now kind of benefit us, because Blaber is one of the player that is very easily picking up the champion, and he's also very like talented mechanically, and there's a lot of like DPS jungles available. It could be AD jungle, it could be AP jungle, and all those just like kind of benefits us. And next year I'm working with Blaber. I 100% trust him as best jungler in NA. So basically, jungle being strong is very very good for us, and I really like the change.
Do you think that you're really going to help Blaber's development, considering that you were a professional jungler yourself? And I think that, if we had to talk about some of Blaber's weaknesses, it would be more along the kind of decision-making aspect of the game, Reignover.
Yeah, so about Blaber, how I see is, so I haven't worked with Blaber full time yet, but from watching C9 running with Blaber, so Blaber actually has basically C9's strength and weakness both has Blaber in it, and I'm pretty sure I will make sure I make Blaber's strength even more stronger, and Blaber's weakness less. So basically, that's what I'm aiming for, and I'm pretty sure I can help on that.
Perkz, are you going to be helping Blaber out as well? Because I think like one of the hallmarks of the last iteration of TSM was really the synergy that he and Niski had, and Niski would often roam to help him out, to provide pressure. What's that face you're making?
You said last iteration
dude,
of
it's
TSM.
Cloud9, man.
It's okay.
Oh,
It's okay.
sorry.
It's fine.
My brain's out there, guys. I'm a little jet lagged. Yeah, thank God you're not on TSM, by the way. Thank God. But coming in, like that was really the team's strength, was having Niski be able to kind of support Blaber, to help him fight in the jungle, to allow Blaber to get into the side lanes and kind of apply this pressure. That's not necessarily your play style. I don't think of you, at least the last time you were playing mid earlier last year, as much of a sacrificial player for the rest of the team. How do you want to use Blaber and have him play with you on the map?
Well, that's, I guess, an interesting thing, because I think in the past, for sure, I haven't really been like in the past by like, I mean, let's say season 7, season 8, I've always been more kind of like a player that wants to win his lane and get advantage for myself and then take over the game. That is true. But I think if you actually, I guess, watch the games in Spring Split, I have been really roaming a lot. Like I've been really like, I did something actually like kind of took over from Cups as well. Is like he has his games where he just tries to roam a lot and help his team, and it's just about, I guess, realizing when is the best for the game for you to like help silence and help your jungler a lot, and when is it, in what case is the best for you to actually win your lane and just shit on the enemy, right? So I think it's always a mix. It's never good to have like, it's never good to be like only one style of player. So, and I guess what I will be trying to do is just be good at everything. And I actually, after seeing Doinby winning worlds, I got a lot more like hype on the Galio hype train. You know, I actually enjoy playing this kind of champions as well and making stuff happen on the map. Like, for example, I'm thinking back, if I was, let's say, if I was as good as I am now back in season 7, you know, Messiah. So I'm pretty sure that now, after all the experience I've gathered, I can use this to my advantage in whatever I play to make the most efficient out of it. And that as well, which you mentioned with Blaber, I think I do work well with other people. And that's...
Your mic's not working?
Yeah, it's not working at all.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
There he goes.
Yeah.
You're back.
Okay.
You do work well with Blaber. Oh, you stopped working again. Wait.
Working well with junglers,
there
like
you
with Trick and Jankos. Well, I only had 2 junglers in like 5 years of my career, which is just like actually insane to think about. Like I know people who like change junglers like 3 times a year or something. Like thinking about TSM right now, basically. But yeah, so it's just it's gonna be an interesting change for me, because yeah, I've played with Jankos for 2 years, but then again, I don't think it actually matters which person I exactly play with. Is just like to work well together. And yeah, I'm excited to play with Blaber, because he is aggressive and he's a little bit crazy and he likes to make things happen. And I think that together we can be a really, really deadly duo.
Agreed.
Fudge, are you excited to play with Blaber? I know you've been watching him kind of on the LCS roster while you were playing with Inori on the Academy roster. So is this? I mean, Inori has a really different play style than Blaber does.
You can call it a style, yeah. You can call it a style.
I mean, he definitely has a style. Like, not everybody was playing Rek'Sai last year. You know what I mean? That is a style. You can argue, is it a good style? That's a fair question. Sure. He definitely has a style.
Yeah, sure. Working with Blaber, I mean, I think he's a very good jungler. People, I mean, of course, like everyone will say like he's really aggressive and he's like his decision making is really bad, but I think it's more about just like questioning him after he makes the decision, why he did the decision, and he definitely has reasons for whatever he does. People will think he doesn't, but it's just sometimes his reasonings is like more based off feeling, I guess, and instinct. And I guess we'll just need to work with him like during the split and give him more more solid reasoning behind his play, I guess.
Well, what I've noticed about Blaber and like listening to comms during scrims and stuff like that is that for him, I agree that he does have reasoning, but he wants to dictate the pace of the game. And so when he makes a decision, he just expects everybody to immediately follow up on that decision. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So you kind of have to just pay fealty to King Blaber and where he wants to fight on the map.
I mean,
whether it's a good idea or not, he's definitely going to go in.
Yeah, so like if he thinks it's a good idea, I think it's fine to follow up on it. It's just like after the game, you just have to review and you just have to like ask yourself the question if it was a good idea or not. And I mean, that's all we'll have to do, and it's about it.
You make it sound so easy.
It is easy. Just ask a question.
So, okay. As we go into the start of spring, there aren't really, I mean, there technically are splits now, I guess. I don't know what they did with the language, the thing. They still have spring and summer splits, but I guess they're just connected into one season. You guys have called out Team Liquid as potentially being powerful and kind of everybody else below that. Are there any teams that you think have made some good moves during the season? Any teams that people might be underestimating, especially you, Fudge, because you've played against a lot of these kind of up and coming Academy players before. So for those people who haven't been watching Academy, who do you think is going to kind of make a splash in the LCS this year?
Who's going to make a splash? Jesus, that's a hard question, dude. I actually don't know if there will be like a good Academy player. Like I feel like all the bottom tier LCS teams will be the ones with the Academy players, and like all the ones that I think are like might be good, like 100, FlyQuest. Oh, that's FlyQuest. They got Diamond and Palafox, so I think those two are like actually really good. I might be biased because I'm like sort of friends with them, but I definitely think that FlyQuest will be like a top 5 team at least. And I mean, I guess they have like a couple of Academy players. They also have Jose Dioda from LAN or LLA, and I think he's really good as well. Or like he's pretty good. So I think FlyQuest could actually be a team that like could like sort of surprise people.
You're not concerned about any of these teams, are you, Perkz?
No.
I'll ask you a different question, Perkz. From your time in Europe, are there any exciting players in LEC that people might want to watch?
In LEC, honest, I'm gonna be really honest right now. Like I've tried really hard to not like laugh or something, but I actually don't know half of the rosters in the EU, and I don't even know any roster in NA besides Team Liquid. I don't actually know anybody else. Like no joke. I was trying to think about TSM roster while you were like talking to me, but then I think maybe I know TSM roster now as well because I thought it was 5 minutes.
Who is it?
Yeah, but I mean it's like
Your mic.
So Perkz, I want to know who you think is on TSM's roster. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I mean I know it. It's
Huni speaker. Yeah.
It is, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sword Art and Lost and Bjergsen. I mean Power Rival. Sorry. It was close. Yeah.
Yeah. Accident. Yeah.
He looked it up. He cheated.
But actually, I don't know. I really don't know anybody else. But so I don't have like a thing where I wanna like look out what's out for this guy, you know. But for Europe, I would definitely like watch it for like G2 Fnatic, I guess. Rivalry. It's gonna be that will be hype. Like I will watch those games. But then again, I don't really know. I mean, honestly, every time you think somebody is good, they maybe fail you, and then every time you don't think that someone is good, like somebody might come up, you know, like what Fudge said, like maybe FlyQuest would be a good team, and they could be, and you never really know before the season who becomes good and who not. So I don't even want to like think about it, or I guess like give my time thinking about it. Like I just prefer like right now using my off season, you know, for my own play and my friends and family, and I just chill. And then when the season comes, I can just worry about ourselves, and then I don't have to give a fuck about anybody else. And we just try to.
It's a good life philosophy. It's a good life philosophy.
And we just try to like do the best we can, you know, ourselves in scrims and in general. And if any scrims is just too trash, you know, it doesn't matter, because then we're gonna have bootcamp at some point. And then bootcamp, like believe it or not, bootcamp is where everyone improves. Like not only even Western players, but Asian players as well. Like that's where everybody like reaches their peak, like in some sort of sense. Like in Europe, no.
Your mic went out.
But I don't get.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyways, like in Europe, we get smacked in streams. No, we win
Mhm.
streams to Worlds, and we get smacked by Asian teams, and it's always the same story every single year. So like I don't expect it to be any different in Cloud9. We can go and get smacked, and then we can learn and we can improve. You know, so it's like. I actually, that's like my whole thoughts on the teams and streams and whatever. So now I answered all of your questions.
I love it. I love it.
Good job.
You come in here not knowing who's in LEC, not knowing who's in LCS, not knowing the LCS format. I mean, it's impressive.
Is this alpha?
Dude, I come here to get excited, like to get surprised, something new, you know. I'm so tired of having the same 5 years of like same playoffs, same regular season, same. And like now it's gonna be fun. Like I won't even know what's happening. Like how can it not be fun?
Everything surprises you now. That's
Exactly,
gonna be great. Yeah,
great.
You'll just figure it out as you go along. No, I mean I appreciate that you're spending. You don't need to spend a lot of your time thinking about that when you're focusing on your own individual play. And you've been a pro for long enough that it's more about once you get over to the LCS, working with your team and making sure you're as good as you can be. You're not like me who has a job talking about all of this shit. So I appreciate that mentality for sure. I think it's definitely a better use of your time, as it were. So for you, Reignover, I know last year the LCS team had a different house that they would go to just for game day to kind of have that mentality of being in a different place and not falling into kind of the same habits or being mentally in the same space as they were in scrims. Is that something you guys are going to keep up? Because basically the way things are going right now, especially in Los Angeles, if we're talking about, hey, this tournament starting in January, it seems very unlikely that anyone's going to be in the studio anytime soon. So are you going to keep up that structure, or do you have something different planned as the coach?
Is it for sure that we're not using the stage at all, the SL stages?
I don't know.
It's pretty unlikely from what
I would think it'd be very unlikely given like
I hope not.
Yeah, it's basically the worst it's ever been right now in terms of the pandemic in LA. So I would be surprised if they use the stage, but maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, we might use like just stage by itself without any audience, no? Yeah, but
you tell me, buddy. You tell
me. I mean, if the players like using separate like room for stage, yes, why not, right? But if the players prefer using the same room, like for example, for Academy last year, we used the practice room as just stage room, and I assume it's pretty much same for every other LCS team. But like basically using the another room just specific for stage is probably brings you like some different mentality going into the game. So I would say I personally would like it, but I think it's just up to players. And we didn't really talk about what we're gonna do about like those actual format or like where we're gonna do the stage. Like we need to do and talk about in the staff meeting, but we didn't really decide anything yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that at least for last year, the LCS players really liked having a different room. Me, Perkz are gonna be like new players, I guess. So
right.
We don't really like know too much, but basically like for Academy we would use the same room, and I didn't notice that like the same like relaxed. I mean, I wouldn't even say scrims are supposed to be relaxed, but I mean, I guess you're supposed to be like way more focused on stage. I didn't really notice like a lack of focus or anything like that. But I mean, if everyone else feels like they need it for more, like to focus more, then that's fine. I mean, it's nothing to lose from doing it.
Do you think there's any value, Perkz, in having a different location to play from during the pandemic? You were winning titles, scrimming and playing from the same room, I assume, so it doesn't seem to have affected you a whole lot.
Oh, I'm not sure. I think it depends person to person. Like we played in a different facility and then we blamed the loss on the fact that we played in a different facility just due to things, by the way. There's a lot of things we blamed the loss on, and then we were like then we are like, okay, we're never playing from facility again. Yeah, never. Okay. So yeah, it just depends person to person.
Yeah, I agree.
So one of the things you mentioned, Perkz, was that how important boot camps are. And I think that was one of the things that really slowed Cloud9 down last year from talking to the players over the course of the season, which is that there weren't, they didn't have MSI, right? So there wasn't really a chance to go get that boot camp. And I know it felt to a lot of the players like the spring split, their victory didn't mean much because the way that it was viewed is that was really the importance of winning was the opportunity to go play and scrim internationally, and that didn't happen. So do you think that's going to be a big issue if you guys can't go to MSI potentially this year or don't have that experience? And since you've been to a lot of MSIs, how important to staying good is that first place opportunity to go to MSI? Does it really help you stay above the other teams in your region?
Can you hear me, by the way? Just making sure my mic
Yeah.
works. Okay, great. So I don't think it's actually that important because the Worlds, like let's say, Worlds is in September anyways, and MSI just in April or May. So many things can change until then. But I can see how it was important for last year's Cloud9 because they haven't won something before, right? And once you win, you really want to play internationally, and it's just like they reach this peak, and then they can't see how good they are actually against the best teams, and then you don't even know how to improve anymore. And I see the win rates and scrims, and I think they just run out of ideas, right? So I don't think that's gonna happen with this coaching stuff and with the new team. I do believe that we'll find ways to keep it fresh throughout the whole year, even if there is no MSI. Now, I don't know if there is or there is not. But I mean, definitely MSI is great, but it also has its downsides. Like you do have a really long season. Like for example, for us in G2, I prefer not having MSI than going to MSI during like COVID time. It would be like really annoying. But we also won the previous MSI, right? So we basically won it 2 years in a row instead of one. So that's just great. We are the defending champions. So it was even better that way. But you just get this break, and then you have this summer split, and then the world is really fast. So like the seasons are so long. So if you like just try to like peak in spring or peak at MSI, it's not good for Worlds, which is something we've done in 2019. And then Worlds was like a really rough mental time. Like it was really, really rough. It was literally a miracle we made it to finals. Just because we were like that insane, I guess. But like mental wise, it was like basically the best description I give it is like the week before playing SKT in 2019, we went like 2-18 in scrims against FPX and IG. So we had like 5% win rate max, right? And then this year we had like 60% win rate or more against Tess and Suning. So we were feeling like super confident. I literally thought we were gonna win Worlds, right? I mean that year 2019, I didn't know if we were gonna win or not, right? But that one was just a bit too insane. But basically the point is that having good balance and good regime throughout the year makes it like for the successful year in general, like for you to feel good about yourself after the year. And even though we won so much shit in 2019, it didn't feel good after the year. And this year felt much better, and I was super happy about it and satisfied with our progress. So I think it's more about learning to balance it out and then being ready throughout the whole year rather than like peaking for the spring tournament against, I don't know, whoever we play against.
All right, I'm going to take some questions from chat. So if you guys start asking them, if you ask smart questions or funny questions, I will ask them. So keep typing them there. In the meantime, speaking of balance and your comments on that, Perkz, one of the things that Cloud9 has been really emphasizing is this kind of push towards team culture and having morning workouts with the players and fostering that kind of camaraderie. Is this something that attracted you to Cloud9?
Yeah, I think that's great. Like that's actually, I think it's super important. First of all, I think it's super important to have physical exercise. And now it's not because I think it's good for me and then it's good for everybody else. I think it's also because of the fact that it brings the team closer, right? And you bring the same thing together. And then it actually is like, it's good for you, like it is literally good for you. And you do feel much like every person I speak to feels much better after they do some physical exercise and you have this fresh head start. I think you're just much more productive. And this is something we have never done in G2, or we tried actually going to gym for a bit in Spring Split 2020 before COVID, and it has been, honestly, I saw good changes. Like I saw good changes in energy, and it was probably really the most productive weeks we had. And then once it stops, people get lazy, and you don't have the way anymore, or the motivation or discipline to do it. I think it just instantly, you can see it in the mood and the atmosphere. So I think it's great. It's for sure insane.
Is that something you've appreciated, Fudge, about being a part of Cloud9? Oh,
Now your mic is.
Sorry. I muted my mic. But I mean, right now we're missing a morning workout because we're on the talk show. So I'm really sad right now that I'm missing my morning workout, and Mr. Vulcan is right next to me. Mr. Vulcan is right next to me. Yeah, I love workout. I love morning workout, but unfortunately, I had to miss it today. It's really sad.
I'm sure. Yes. Not at all. Sarcastic. So let's talk Reignover. How important is the LCS lock-in tournament to you guys? Do you really care about winning? Do you view this more as just an opportunity to scrim, or what's your attitude heading into the event?
To be honest, not too much thought about the tournament. I mean, I do think it's good experience. I mean, I do want to start off with pretty good winnings, and that will be a place where we can build some team synergy. So I'm just gonna use that tournament as just making sure we feel like a team. I think that's the main goal.
That's fair. I mean, it seems like with only 2 weeks of prep, it's kind of just an extension of getting your synergy down, and probably, shouldn't be taken too seriously. Another question here for you, Reignover. You have Max Waldo and Veigar on the coaching staff now. What are they bringing to Cloud9? Why did you want to pick them?
So basically, they're gonna help our players individually about those lane-specific information, and also they're gonna make us keep in the meta, bringing some creative ideas about the champion, and those stuffs. And as I said, like same thing, they can just jump in anytime they want and help us. Anything they see that can benefit, they can give us any idea. And I'm gonna talk with them about the game generally, and they're gonna talk with the players about the game generally too.
So, Fudge, question for you. Asking about the in-houses. When are you going to play the in-houses? Also, it seems great that these in-houses are happening. Is this something that you think is beneficial for the professional scene overall?
Yeah, I mean, I think if they're done well, it's good for the scene for sure. I actually played in houses when they first started, but I haven't been playing them recently because I've been having some issues with how they're run. I guess I really don't think that voice comms are necessary for the in houses, but I mean they want to make it sort of compulsory, I guess, which is fine. I sort of don't like talking to random people that I'm not really I don't know friends with. It's sort of awkward to me, and I also think that the voice comms are are very useless, to be honest. Like it feels like some people are very for fun, which I don't really like. So I actually prefer playing solo queue, even though solo queue might be slightly worse in terms of gameplay, just because I can't really focus when I play in the in-houses. But I mean, if it works for them, I think people playing in-houses are good for them for sure. They're always going to be better than solo queue as long as they're done well. Yeah, that's my opinion.
So, Perkz, people are asking what you're excited about in terms of moving to Los Angeles, if it's the weather or the environment or some of the things that perhaps once the pandemic ends, you'll be able to do here.
Honestly, it's so many things, especially during Spring Split. And let's say right now before Spring Split, honestly, up until the April or something in spring, I feel like the day is it just ends too fast in Berlin. Let's say at 4 p.m. it starts getting dark, 4 up to 5. So you play 2 games, 3, and then the last 2 or 3 are or of productivity and energy in the room. And that's something I've always struggled with personally. Like I know I feel it myself. Maybe others don't feel it, but I believe everybody to some extent does. And if they say they don't, they are lying to themselves, just because that's how human body works. And that's something. First, that's like the first thing I'm really excited about is the sun. Then I'm excited about the warmth, because I do prefer actually just being like in like a t-shirt or a hoodie if it's like a bit colder, than like wearing jackets and gloves and all these kind of things. And then once the pandemic ends, hopefully, then then I will be able to do whatever I guess I want to do, physical activity. And that's something I really enjoy, because again, it makes me feel better and makes me feel more concentrated and energetic. And I've been going to gym for years, but I got really bored of that. So I'm really excited to be in LA, because you can do a lot of things there. For example, I started doing boxing a little bit
Nice.
this off season, and it was so fun. I never had so much fun doing something physical in my whole life. Like just teaching me, how to move and how to hit, and it was super fun. But I had to like end after 1 week, so that was just like. I was like, so, oh my God. But I'm gonna for sure do boxing in LA. Like
Here, I'll tell you what.
August.
I spent years doing Muay Thai kickboxing. I'll take you out, and we can go do some Muay Thai together. How about that?
Okay. That sounds great.
See, the cool thing about Muay Thai, Perkz, is that it basically is Western boxing, because they took Western boxing and then like fused it onto like kicks and elbows and knees. So it's pretty insane workout. So it's like boxing plus all the stuff you do with the feet and the knees. It's good. It's good stuff.
And then I'm looking forward to surfing. I'm really bad at it, but Mitty loves surfing, so I know we're gonna go surfing together. It's like also like some of these things I do. It's just like it makes me completely forget about everything. And like I know when I surfed, like I literally for 2 hours I couldn't think about anything else, no other problems in the world besides me getting up on this board, and trying to catch the waves and shit, And same when I was boxing, like when my trainer was telling me, hit this, use this, and I really couldn't think about anything else. It just gives me like the whole different perspective, and I'm done with it. And when I come back into league, I usually have like the best game of the day right after I'm done with the training or something. So maybe I do it like before LCS, and then
I'll fight you before LCS. I'll fight you before
okay,
LCS.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I've actually never been surfing, but see that I agree with you. That is like one of the great parts about living in LA is that, you can go surfing. And then also if you want the winter weather, it's a couple hours into the mountains and you can go skiing or snowboarding and all of that stuff too. So it's actually really easy. You can ski and surf in the same day here if you want to during the winter. There are people who actually do that. Like they go up and ski for a couple hours, then drive down and surf. So I will say it's pretty amazing for outdoor stuff. You can go out to the Joshua Tree National Park. Fudge, you haven't had a chance to do that because your entire time living here has been in
my
a pandemic.
Oh yeah. I want to visit. Yeah, I want to visit stuff as well. That's for sure. Like I want to visit the parks, the national park.
Yeah.
Also, I want to visit like the further ones as well, but I have to do it in low season. Like I want to visit the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And
it's not actually that far.
And that's what all the Americans say, right? It's not that far, but it's like 10 hours away. So it is. When I hear it's not that far, like I expect, it's like 3-4 hours away, but it's like 10 hours. So yeah, it's kind of far anyways. But yeah, I will have to do it at some point. And the big trees, like what is it? The redwood?
Sequoia, the redwoods. Actually, that's not that far. It takes about 5 hours to drive. 5 hours to drive from
that
LA.
One is like that. I want to have this. Like I want to see this tree. Like honestly, that sounds insane.
Yeah. It's about 5-hour drive from LA to get up to Sequoia National Park. So I've done it. It's really.
I can make it 4. Do
you have a driver's license, Perkz?
I do actually. That's something I've done this year, which is like a really great plus for living in LA as well, right?
Yeah.
And I'm actually getting a car from Cloud9 as well, so I can drive around my teammates. Thank you, Jack. Thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you, BMW. Thank you, BMW.
Thank you,
Holy
thank you,
shit.
BMW.
That's a nice fucking perk for Perkz right there. God damn. I mean, here's my advice to you. I had some other European caster friends who worked with me on Overwatch, and one of the things that they did, they're British, that you can actually rent like an RV and just drive around America. So during the off season, that way you just kind of rent like a bus for yourself that you can live in, and then you can like drive out to the Sequoia or to Grand Canyon and kind of see all that stuff on one trip. It's part of the American experience. They really enjoy it. So you might make some friends with you. It's a good time.
I might do it at some point, yeah, but it's a big step. That's a big step, you know. That's a big step. Yeah.
It is.
Full America.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Really looking forward to seeing you guys play and get you out here, Perkz, and watch you with the team. Obviously, I'm really excited about seeing Cloud9 in the LCS this year. I think everybody is. It's the moves that have been made in the offseason are really cool. Very happy to see you finally in the LCS as well, Fudge. And congrats, Reignover, on the new coaching job. So thank you for joining us here on the Nines, presented by AT&T. Presumably, we'll be back at some point. In the meantime, hope everybody has as nice of a holiday season as you can, given the current pandemic conditions. And stay tuned to, of course, Cloud9 Twitter, social media. Please do follow this channel. There will be more of this in the coming months. So we'll announce that as soon as we have some more of these dates. But it's been a wonderful year here on the Nines, and big thank you to Cloud9's sponsors for helping out with this show, particularly AT&T and Microsoft, who have done so much to provide us with the stats and the platform for this, but also, Puma, Red Bull. Really big thank you to you guys as well. So stay tuned, everybody, for more Cloud9 action coming up in 2021.